Is it going? It is. Hello. Woo. So I'm Jeannie Dawkins, and today I'm coming on here as a parent. Still, I'm always an education strategist, but my son is going to college in a couple of days, and I am so excited. I'm so excited for him. Uh, but we've been doing a couple of things, and I wanted to share. Every day for the next couple of days, I wanted to share preparing your neurodivergent child for college. So, for anyone who doesn't know that term, neurodivergent, that's when your child or a person in your life has autism spectrum disorder, dyslexia, dyscalculia, ADHD. They fall under the neurodivergent umbrella. So my son has autism spectrum disorder, and he just graduated. I'm so excited. He just graduated in June, and he will be attending George Mason University. And my son rocked it out. He has a 3.8 GPA, and he got academic scholarships. And with that being said, we've been preparing for him to go to school all summer with small things. So for any of you out there who have seniors who are neurodivergent, okay, or just high school, I noticed that this generation does not like email. And when you're doing college applications, you have to check your email. So all senior year, I kept saying, you checking your email, like it's going to be really important because when you get into college, people are corresponding via email. So we've been working on that all summer long. He had a couple of hiccups that really just took him through a tailspin. So one of the hiccups we had was class registration. So class registration, he's given an admissions an advisor, and the advisor reviews his proposed schedule. So he created a proposed schedule. He gave it to the advisor, and the advisor did what? Emailed him that it was approved for him to register for classes. Now, I forgot this part about my son is that he was accepted to honors college. So that's a thing. So when you are accepted to honors college, you are taking separate core classes than the general population. And most honors classes, they do inquiry based and a lot of research. So when your child goes to honors college, accepted to honors college, they are given an additional advisor. They are able to do research out of the gate, like first semester. They get access to register for classes before the other students. There's also an honors dorm, but for what I'm talking about right now, he was given access to register for his classes early. And when his advisor said, "Hey, go," he missed the he missed the email. So when he finally got the email and he was able to register for classes, his teacher, his sister showed him this website where you can where professors are reviewed. Okay, I wish they had that when I was in school, but yeah, they got that. They have a website where the professors are reviewed by the students. So his sister showed him that. So he wants to make sure that he gets a professor that's good. Of course, even though he has early access to registration, a lot of the classes are taking. So he had like an entire like meltdown, and I had to like gently remind him, this is what happens when you don't pay attention to the emails. But he has been working on responding to the emails. And I'm sure if your child is about to go to college, or even if they're in there now, you've already moved them on campus, the emails, it's a major factor. So we've been working on that this summer. The other thing that we have been working on is my son has anxiety. So he does have a therapist. And they've been working on how to put programs in place or a system in place for him to manage his anxiety. So that has been working. He has his accommodations. I'm really proud to say, because I have other neurodivergent children, And my oldest, when he went to college, I did not know all these things. And it was just like, woo, the school's going to have him. And it's different going from high school to college. So one of those differences is when you're in high school, because of the child find process, schools are looking to actively support your child with accommodations. When you're in college, it's a bigger picture and no one is looking for you. So you have to advocate for yourself. So my son understands his diagnosis. He's gone to a wonderful school where he's learned how to advocate for himself, but how does that translate over to actively doing it in school? So he met with his student support disabilities officer, and they mapped out his accommodations. And I created this self-advocacy document that takes all of his information. So his grades, his testing, some questions I have for him in regards to how he learns. And I took all that and I created a template. So in this template, it tells him, like, when he meets and interviews with the disabilities office, how to explain how he learns or what accommodations does he needs, as well as it also gives him the emails. So some schools, they have new systems where the disabilities office will actually send the letters to the professors for the students. But traditionally, that doesn't happen. It's up to the student to send the email to their professors outlining their accommodations. So that's part of the template, as well as like what to say when you're working, how to support yourself. But I was really happy that he used it when he met with his advisor. Like I said, I had 2 other children, and one of the things that disturbed me the most was we're moving from me supporting them in the room to sometimes counselors with you in the room, and sometimes they do not. And if your child does not know how to verbalize their needs, then sometimes the schools will do the same thing that schools do. When I say schools, I mean like traditionally, oh my goodness, elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools are always on this let's see kind of basis. Let's see what they need. So that means that let's see period is let's see if they fail and then we'll help them. I don't like that. I want to come in. I want my child to come in with everything they need. So he did a great job explaining what he needs. And he got all of the accommodations that he requested. So he has extra time on his test. He's given the presentations from all of his professors. What else does he get? He gets notes. And I forgot what the other thing he gets. So he's covered. So that's great. So we did that. We made sure that he had that in place. He's been checking his emails. So because classes are next week, he received the email where he had to go through everything and sign for it and read and understand how to use those services. So that's been great. Now, the other thing that we have been working on outside of that is getting him prepared for his classes. So as the teachers have been, professors, as the professors have been sending out the syllabus, and he also has his schedule, I asked him, like, do you want support with setting up your calendar? So all of his classes, he placed them in his calendar, for the semester, so he knows what times his classes are and where they are. He has, what else has he done? He did that. I told him to make an appointment with an academic counselor. So that's one thing I had to get my mind around. Is like he has his advisor, but in his school they also have academic counselors and academic advisors for honor students. So he has an honor students advisor. He had a regular advisor. He has the advisor for student support services, but then they also have academic advisors, and these are the advisors where they have the tutoring centers, and then they support students with studying, and those type of services. So he has an appointment with them the first Friday. So classes start next week. So Friday he made his schedule where he's off all day. So he meets with them, and I told him, you want to meet with them with your syllabus and explain to them that you need support around scheduling study time. In the professional world, executive functioning. So if your child, even if they're not neurodivergent, and there's an academic support, please encourage them to go and make an appointment with them. One thing about college and just going into a new space is that you're kind of like on this in this space where I'm independent and I have it. Everyone else seems to have it. I got it. I don't need any support. But it's a new space. That's the part. And you don't want your child to fail or set themselves up to be in a space where they have to fail or not even so much fail, but like now they're stressed out because they're not performing the way that they think they should perform, just because this is new space and they've underestimated what needs to be done. So if they meet with the academic support counselor the first week, second week, third week, look, it's the first month, that will help them to get themselves back in line. So we did that, and I'm happy about that. What else have we done? We've also worked on, because my son has autism, socially. The social stuff he has a lot of anxiety around it. He really wants to be social, but he's anxious. So he asked me, like, what should he do? So I have been telling him to go online, look at the clubs. Anytime there's like invites, I've been telling him to, like, join the invites. So he has been doing that, which has been working beautifully. So he joined the game board club because he loves board games. And I'm happy for him because I don't. And he buys all these games and he's always trying to convince me to get on the game. And I'm like, no, sir. So he joined the club. Because he's an honor student, they have a meet and greet. He signed up for that. And he signed up for a program called Global Gateway. And it is at George Mason University. And it's a program for incoming freshmen where they go abroad in the spring semester. So they have a meet and greet. He signed up for that. So I'm just excited for him, right? One thing about anxiety, especially social anxiety, is just getting in the room. Like I always tell him, like, if you just get in the room, put it on your schedule, just get in there, that's half the battle. The other thing that he wants to do is work out. So I also told him to make time for that. So that's what we have been working on up until today. Amongst the other things, right? So the other things being making sure that his hair is done the first week. We did canvas hair, beauticians and barbers in the area, for him, when he gets on campus. New computer. I did not want to do that, but I was on his computer and I was like, what is happening with this computer? Like, you can't go to college like this. I don't even understand. So, we got him a new computer, should be here soon. Send out gift lists to family members. One of the things I will also say when you have a neurodivergent child or student is school supplies. So I got him the binder. I don't have it with me. So I got him the binder that's like it's the 5-subject binder. So even though everything's digital now, and he decided that digital books will work for him the best. And I actually had a conversation with him. So if you haven't bought your children's books, ask them that question. What works for you, digital or physical books? Price point is different. Okay, digital books are cheaper, but if your child is a tactile learner, which means touch, right? They need to have a highlighter to remember things and, write notes. Then they actually want to have a book. So I asked him which one he likes, and he was like, I want to get the digital book. which works for me. But I also bought him a notebook. And I bought him a 5-subject notebook. And I told him to print out all of his syllabuses. Because yes, it's available digital, but it can get lost. Like you're pulling it up whenever you're pulling it up versus every time you open up your notebook to take a note or do anything, it's right there. You can look at it and you can refer to it. And it makes it easy when you want to make plans. So we have the notebook, we have the pencils, we have those school supplies. What are we waiting for? Waiting for the refrigerator. So family members have been buying his other supplies, which have been great. Tomorrow we will be going to campus. Now my son's not moving until Thursday, but once again, he is neurodivergent. And one of the things with autism spectrum disorder is anxiety, social anxiety, period. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what this looks like. And of course, everyone manages it different, but the best way to manage anxiety for people with autism or people with anxiety is to go through the motions. So when my children were in high school and even elementary school, I would always ask to come into the school when it was empty and walk them through their classes. So I asked my son, did he want us to do that? At first he was like, no. Then he changed his mind. And what happened, why he really decided he wanted to do a walkthrough, was because he has a class where it's like 10 minutes. Like the last class ends at 1:50. The second class ends at 2:00. He really wasn't planning. He really wasn't thinking logistically, like, where is the building? So he's like, Mom, please, I know I told you I didn't need it, but I do. Can you take me to the school so we can walk through it? And I said, yes. And then I did the mom thing. So I went behind him and try to figure out the bus. Okay, listen, now that I'm trying to plan the bus for him, my intention is this. I'm trying to understand how the bus works. Like, where does the bus take them? And if they have an app for the bus, does it show them where it takes them? So, I did some digging around and I was like, get the app. Like, get the app for the bus on campus and see if it tells you it'll give you the travel route. Like if you say I need to be at this building, does it tell you what bus to take? So he did look at that. So we're gonna walk through from his dorm to the buildings to see exactly time-wise what does that look like. Because he has anxiety. Is this something I'm going to be doing with him every semester? No, but it's his first semester. And I am creating the space where this becomes his template. So he'll be doing it himself, next semester and, and for the rest of his academic life. But this helps him get his feet on the ground. So I think that's it because that's what I wanted to share. So I think that's it today. Tomorrow, I will come and tell you everyone how it works out. And of course, if anyone has questions, please let me know. Drop them in the comments. I'll answer. Any support. I'm excited for all of the incoming college freshman students this year. And I want everyone to win. And there is a conversation that needs to be had when we're going from high school to college, especially if your child used to have an IEP and now they're moving into college and it's different, especially the self-advocacy part, being able to, one, understand how you learn and how the accommodations actually support you. Because what's been happening before college is that everyone is telling you you need this. Everyone is telling you this is how you're a good student. So you're doing it because someone told you to. But owning it and being your own self-advocate is a big piece of that, is understanding actually how you learn, actually how notes will support you, actually understanding how extra time supports you and utilizing that in the best way, as well as another accommodation is what you get to bring into the testing site. So maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. But if you're catching this video after the live, let me know if you want me to talk about that anytime this week. I'll be here every day. I'm not going to say around this time. I'm going to do my best to come in at 7 o'clock. But it's exciting, and to all the parents who are dropping their children off this week, next week, congratulations. And I know it's exciting for them, and I know it's exciting for you. And they would not be where they are if not for you. And as I would say on my podcast, always be patient with yourself and your child. And once again, any comments, any questions, please put it in the comments.